It's KGB Live Show. We gon' set it right. Live Show. We only tell the truth. Live Show. We gon' set it right. Live Show. The true straight way.
Straight from the scripture.
Straight way.
To you straight, no chaser.
The true straight way.
Straight from the scripture.
Straight way.
To you straight, no chaser.
The true straight way.
All right. Welcome to the KGB Live Show with your host, Brother Kabir Gbaja-Biamila.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you. Glory, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Glad to be back.
Did I say it right?
Say it again.
Kabir Gbaja-Biamila?
Yes, sir,
okay,
man.
So, Kabir Gbaja-Biamila.
Gbaja-Biamila.
Gbaja-Biamila. I got
okay,
it.
right there.
Oh,
sorry. Okay, this is my Yoruba translator here. Believe it or not, he's from Chile, and he actually can speak Yoruba
a little bit more.
A little bit more than me.
A couple words more. I wouldn't say no more.
Yes.
Anyway, guys, welcome to the KGB Live Show. We are live with your host, Brother Kabir.
Yes, sir.
We are live in the studio. In the studio, we have Brother Kabir, myself, Brother David, and Brother Freddie in the background. He's our moderator for the night. Thank you guys for coming on. Let's do a quick mic check. Let us know. Give us an 8 for great.
An 8
and
for great.
A 1 for the worst possible reception, audio, and video. So let us know how we're coming in here.
All right, testing 1, 2, 3.
And make sure you guys go like and share the video. It definitely helps with the algorithm of YouTube. It's not really even for us. It's just more so to get the video out there so other people can partake in hearing the truth. So if you guys support Brother Kabir, if you support the truth and the message, make sure you guys like and share the video. It helps out with the algorithm. So how are we? Got 8s there, Brother Freddie? What are we looking at? Good. Everybody, we're coming in clear. Hallelujah.
So
you got your chat.
Yeah, I got mine. Yep.
Okay. Maybe I should.
So everybody knows. Oh, okay.
No, you go ahead. What are you gonna say?
So everybody knows that we. You guys see the title. We're gonna be talking
What's
about.
What's the title, brother?
We're gonna be talking about our brother in Canada.
Yeah.
We're gonna be talking about him. This is all about him, Brother Ugly. This is for you.
You've been
this
targeted.
show has been sponsored by Brother Ugly. No, I'm just joking.
Dang, that's kind of hard. No. Anyway, guys, you guys see the title of the show. You are ugly, man.
That's deep.
But it's provocative.
Well, hold on here.
Okay, Brother Kabir's got to go do something. I'm gonna go ahead and do announcements while he's gonna go grab that.
Let me just promise I'm gonna print this here because I want to print something here.
Okay. Anyway, while he's doing that, guys, you guys know the drill. Last Shabbat service with Pastor Dow, titled Hell. Make sure you guys go check that out. Great teaching from our shepherd, Pastor Dow, Charles Dow Jr. If you guys missed it, make sure you guys go back and check it out. Go to straightway.com and you can catch the last live feed on there. If you have a cell phone, if you have a smart TV or an Android, iPhone, something that's not a computer, I guess, that you don't have easy access to internet that way, you guys can always check out Brother Daryl's YouTube page, also Straightway Tech Team. And if you want to catch the live feed on YouTube, you can go to Straightway Live. That's youtube.com/Straightway Live. That gets streamed every single Shabbat live, and they basically just transmit what's going on the website onto YouTube just to make it a little bit more accessible for all you guys. Also, check out the last Sister to Sister show. If you guys missed that, make sure you guys go check it out. I believe it'll bless you. And like always, check out the Brothers segment as well. That usually gets transmitted on Sundays. And I guess there's so much going on. I'm going to promote Straightway News. Brother Ugly, thanks for being on the show in the chat room. Let people know how to get in contact with you there, brother. If you guys want to keep up with the ministry in a very efficient way, make sure you guys go check out Straightway News. The ministry is growing, guys. There's a lot of brothers putting videos out, and sometimes it gets lost in transition. So if you want to keep up to date with everybody in the ministry and what's being put out in content out there, make sure you guys go to Straightway News Brother Ugly, like I said, if you can put some links out there to let people know how to get in contact or how to subscribe to your channel there. Anyway, that's pretty much it for announcements. Brother Kabir, we are here. This is episode 26.
26, guys.
So we've had 26 KGB Live Show episodes. We are back again. The title is You Are Ugly.
You Are Ugly.
Now, brother, I would appreciate if you could do Matthew 18 on me. And if you think I'm ugly, I would hope that you would just come to me and me alone first, and then bring it to the assembly. So, what is this title about? Are you talking about me?
Okay.
Let's tell the truth.
I prefer to just talk about you through the show that you don't know I'm talking about you.
I see.
And so...
Oh, you're going to take the Christian aspect.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Christian aspect. You know how we Christians do. We never will come to you face to face. You know, we like to... But no. But guys, I got to tell you guys, have you ever heard what it says about being... have you ever heard the term icebreaker? I'm about to do an icebreaker, guys. I don't know how Pastor Dow does it, but obviously it's I guess I do know the Holy Spirit, and it's so true. You shouldn't worry about what you're going to say, but half the time I really don't know what I'm going to talk about coming onto the live show here. Just always trying to pray and seek the Most High to see what we should be talking about. But this one I felt led to talk about.
Hey, let's take a quick time out. I got to fix the audio here.
Okay. No one's not hearing me?
No, we just had a situation. We should be good now. Brother Freddie, can we do a check? Saints, sorry about that.
Massive echo. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit of echo. How we coming in now? Is the echo gone? Still going?
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing echo.
Is it changed when you made that screen to full
Sure.
screen? It looked like another mic is active or something.
Right. So I just muted that one.
Right.
How are we doing now? It still sounds. Can you check?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Testing. Testing.
Sounds good.
Do I sound like
That's
Darth
better.
Vader?
Oh, there's no background music anymore.
That's good. Yeah, we don't need background. We're done with the background music. So, okay, sorry about that. Let me just 1 second. Let me switch to the other screens to make sure the rest is not active here. All right, sorry about that, guys.
I am your father.
Okay.
Join me. Do you hear the echo? No. Good.
All right, we're good. Let's go.
All right. All right, guys.
And action.
Action. All right, guys. This is live. This is what you're going to get. So we got our man back here, Brother David, who does a great job in editing a lot of my videos. When you see these videos, music, all the stuff put in there, that's the brother that does it, my brother David here. But we're live, so there is no editing. You're getting everything raw. You see all the mistakes and the things that here. But anyway, guys, like I was saying, what was I saying? What was I talking about?
Well, the title today is "You Are Ugly."
Okay.
And we're touching the subject of.
Okay.
Well, let us know what you mean by the title.
So guys, here's the deal. So I half the time I don't know what I'm gonna talk about, but I do prepare in some things, but some things it comes right at that very moment. So guys, the thing I came up with, it was a story. It kind of brought me back to memory because part of the reason why I want to talk like because I got an email. I get a lot of emails, guys. I'm starting to get some emails from people, and please feel free to email if you have questions. In ways people ask me to reach out to them, to give them calls.
Let me insert this real quick. Please do not be offended if the emails aren't responded very quickly because, like he said, there is a lot of emails coming through.
Yep.
So just give us at least a day or two to maybe reach out, and especially if you email us like Friday, you probably won't get a response till Monday because of Shabbat and all that stuff. So
but just email and if you want me to contact you, if I feel like I can help you or direct you in the right place, I will be more than happy to do that because. Guys, I've been getting a lot since my story. Everybody knows what I've gone through, what I've overcome, and because of it, it sounds like a lot of people are going through it, and a lot of people are in the middle of theirs. And what Pastor Dow did for me, now I get to do it for other people. It kind of reminds me when Jesus told Peter, he says, when you once you get your strength back, go back and strengthen your brothers. So I feel like. I get an opportunity now to strengthen those who are out there going through the same fight that I went through, that I've overcome. And I am an overcomer. I live to be able to be here, to do this show, to tell you that you can do it. You can do it. You can make it. And so the story about ugly, I was in the shower, and that's where I kind of get some of my great ideas, just praying to the Most High, and I was thinking about this email that I'm going to read to you guys. But I was kind of in the shower thinking to myself, man, when I think about when and you guys all saw my video today. If you haven't, go check it out. Called what was the thing called today?
What was that?
Hope.
Oh, the video.
Yeah.
I found hope.
I found
so
hope.
Can you.
So can you. And I was watching it myself and just thinking about my childhood and thinking about when I was growing up in Los Angeles. I grew up in a family of 7, both parents from both Nigerian descendants. And even within that dynamics, it was I have a mixed. I have half brothers from different fathers, but we all had the same mom. But I always felt like I was different. I was I had a funny voice. I cried a lot when I was a child. When I was younger, when I went to school because because my parents were Nigerian descendant, I got made fun of for being African. I used to be called African booty scratcher. I mean, all of these stuff hurts. I mean, it really does hurt. Never felt like I ever belonged, and really didn't start feeling like at least I was accepted when I started playing football. That's where it really started for me. I started playing Pop Warner football, but when I was playing Pop Warner football, I had to go to a park. And it was called Ball and Heels. I used to play for Ball and Heels. So maybe some people in there listening to me used to play for Ball and Heels. And because it wasn't part of the school, no one really knew that I was playing unless they went to the school I went to. I played there. I played a position at the time. Obviously everybody wanted to be a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver where you're going to get your name and get touchdowns. But I played offensive tackle. I was just an offensive tackle and a defensive end. And so at that time, they didn't keep stats of if you got a sack or not or block. I mean, I just went out there. I remember even when they were giving out numbers. I remember because my dad was from Nigeria, and the football he knew was what we call soccer. But he really didn't know. He knew nothing about the game of football. And so all my dad told me when I was a little child was, son, go out there and do your best. That's all. You do what the coach tells you to do, and you do your best. If you start it, you finish it. That's it. My dad wasn't able to get in the coach's ear saying, well, how come my son ain't playing quarterback? How come my son ain't playing wide receiver? How come he's not getting some playing time? My dad couldn't even do that. He just said, go out there, do your best, and if this is what you want to do. And I remember when the coaches was giving everybody numbers, and I remember they were giving everybody, and you know what my number was my first year? It was 00. And I didn't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, And I remember the coach said, hey, 00, that means you're a hero, I said, okay, I didn't know, but because I didn't watch football enough to know if you should be, like the Joe Montana or the Jerry Rice. I've never seen the 00 before.
Ocho Cinco.
I didn't know. But that's what the coach gave me. I wore it, did my very best. And then other years, it just kept on playing. And eventually, I remember my 9th grade year, my dad wanted me to play football. I mean, I wanted to play football, but my grades were bad because I always had to go to a park so far away. And so my 9th grade year, I took a break, didn't play football. And then my 10th grade year, when I became a 10th grade, I went to high school. This is when 10th grade started at 10th, 11th, 12th. When 10th grade, you were a freshman. And I remember I wanted to play one more year of Pop Warner football because I was afraid to go play high school ball because I took a year off. And my dad was trying to save some money, I think, when it really comes down to it, and keep it, short because it was at the school. He said, just play this. And I didn't know they had something called B football. So they had the varsity team, and then they had junior varsity, but it was really called B football during my time. So I played on the B team, and once again, guess what position I played? I played offensive tackle and defensive end. No namers. You wouldn't even know what I played in the game or not. And then I played 1 year of B football. Then I moved up my junior year, 11th grade year, 12th grade year. I ended up playing on the varsity team. Why am I telling you this story? Because this is where people all of a sudden start. I don't even know if I had that because I didn't even know people care. But I was a good football player. I was doing some major things. And so I played offensive tackle. I was too small to be an offensive tackle like I was on B football. So they moved me to a blocking tight end. So this was the first time that I had an opportunity to catch a football, score a touchdown, get my name in the paper if I score or something like that. And I kept on consistently playing defensive end, but I never, ever got to pick the position I played. My dad told me, whatever the coaches put you, you play that position, you learn it, and you be the very best you can be. And that's what I did. And so I was a defensive end because you had to play both sides. I was a defensive end on defense, and then on offense, I was a tight end on the varsity. You guys all know the rest is history. I ended up getting a scholarship. I was averaging 2 sacks a game. That's getting to the quarterback. That was average. I was averaging I was just getting the backfield all the time. Sometimes it'd be 3, 4 sacks, but I was averaging 2 sacks a game. Didn't even know it was a big deal until my senior year. I became lineman of the year in Los Angeles. I was lineman of the year. Didn't even know because of all the stats that I was collecting or doing and everything. And then all of a sudden I got a scholarship at San Diego State. Went on to my San Diego State years, did well. Had to earn my way up there. I was always still the nerd or whatever you want to call it. People made fun of me, and then I would do well again. And then when I did well again, people liked me again. It was like weird. So I always had to start at the bottom. I worked my way up. Just because I played football and was good at it, people liked me. People say, well, he is a baller. And then same thing, when I got to the pros, my rookie year with the Green Bay Packers, I get drafted. I was made fun of again. I was just the funny guy that you just, the butt of every joke. I was the butt of every joke, right? And this was kind of what I've been accustomed to, being made fun of. I have had people that I consider friends. And then all of a sudden, because they were popular, or maybe I wasn't cool to hang out with, they would dump me or whatever. So I've always experienced what it was like to be rejected, right? To feel ugly, girls didn't want to date me, I get it, I remember trying to get with this girl in high school. I'm all over the place, but I remember trying to get with this girl in high school, and she had cancer. This girl had cancer, but before she had cancer, she was one of the most beautiful girls in the school at the time. And at the time, I asked her when she had cancer, I guess her boyfriend dumped her. So I asked her because I thought she was attractive back then anyway. So I'm not going to all of a sudden not like you because you got cancer and not have any hair. And so I tried to ask her to go to the prom and took her on the prom. And what did she do? She, I guess her boyfriend asked her back out, and then she dumped me and went back to him, and it came back to me. And I'm telling you guys, I know what it's like to be rejected. And I say all of this stuff it reminds me of the story of the ugly duckling. If you guys if you get a chance, read the story. Maybe you guys grew up reading about the ugly duckling, but I can relate to the story of the ugly duckling. But I believe that story is real. And the person who actually wrote the story, the author or the creator of that story, actually wrote it because of stuff that they went through. And one thing I've noticed about being a part of Straightway, everyone that I've talked to, and I haven't talked to everyone, but everyone I have talked to all have said when they was growing up, they always felt different. There was always, even though they're in their natural family, they felt different. They always felt like the oddball, they felt like they didn't belong. And I got to admit, it wasn't until I came to Straightway for the first time, even when I was a Christian, I didn't belong. I didn't feel like I belonged. Playing football, I felt like I didn't belong. I kind of was accepted, but it was always because of what I did, in the sense of there was something that I brought. Churches, even in Christianity, the only reason why they liked me in Christianity because of money. But it was never for me. It wasn't never for really me. It was like, okay, this guy's, we can deal with him, but he got the money. In football, we can deal with him being different because he can play. He can bring us money. He can help us to win games. I mean, so all my life, I've always experienced that my value was in what I could do, but it wasn't really me. And so it wasn't until I got to Straightway for the first time I could be me. Now, when I say me, maybe it's the same thing, but for the first time I could follow this book, because in Christianity, I didn't feel accepted. Every time I try to follow this book, I'll get smacked. And so even in the Christian realm, as much as they were happy to say, man, he's a professional football player, he can draw more people to the church, he can talk, let's bring him in and just have him tell his story. But that's it. Just have him tell his story. We even give him titles like he's a pastor, but we would never use him as a pastor. We would never let him lead anybody. but let's bring them in. Just tell them, hey, KGB is going to be speaking today. And then they'll come in there, you tell your little story, and then after that, people come in, and then they're just fleecing the people and not ever really telling the story, but they never allowed me to really teach what I was learning from this stuff. And so it wasn't until I finally got to Straightway that I finally felt like I belonged. And it reminded me of the story of the ugly duckling. And let me read this letter here. Let me read this letter, and then I'll go to the story of the ugly duckling. If you guys, does anybody know about the ugly duckling? Let me just see how many people know about that story. Have you guys seen anybody that said they know that story? Or is it just me? Am I an old man?
No, I know it.
You know it, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Freddie, you know of that?
Yeah,
He's from Germany, so do you guys know all about it on here? You think so? If you guys know, they will know it, right? Let me
I hope so. I don't know.
Let me read this letter, guys. Here's a letter I got, right? And I'm not going to say any names in this letter, but I want you to know that this is the type of letters, these are the type of communication I keep getting. And I want to encourage you guys that you feeling ugly, you feeling different, you experienced a rejection all your life. We probably all have experienced some form of rejection. But it's all that stuff that prepared us to be able to be a part of this kingdom. You cannot be a part of this kingdom if you can't handle being rejected. Because Yeshua was rejected. And if he was rejected, all of us is going to experience the same way. Because if he who is greater than us was rejected, how much more are those who are his servants? But let me read this letter just to let you guys know, this is not just me making this thing up. But here's a brother. He says, hello, brother. How are you doing? I hope all is well with you and your family. My name is, it doesn't matter his name. I'm reaching out because I find myself in a similar situation as you. I'm about 5 months into the truth, and I'm amazed at how blind I was. Since coming into the truth, I have felt what it truly means to be persecuted for the gospel. I was told if I didn't drop my beliefs, I wouldn't be accepted at my church anymore. This is a Christian, or a guy that was in Christianity. I'm also having issues with my wife not being obedient to me. Not to get all into the sake of time, but my wife wanted to join a sorority. From research, I have learned that these organizations are very pagan, and I told her I didn't support her in this decision. I also told her that it is not in the best interest for our family. She decided to go ahead and do it anyway. I tell you, rebellion is the same as witchcraft, right? But she did it anyway. It goes on to say that she decided to do it anyway. I listened to a video Pastor Dow did on YouTube, and in a nutshell, he said to admonish her once and admonish her twice. Then if she doesn't concede, give her a bill of divorce. I didn't get to the second admonishment yet, but I'm hurt that it might come to this. We've been married for such and such years, and I love my children. I'm changing it up a little bit so you won't know. I mean, it doesn't matter. You guys don't know, but I don't want this other person to know. But anyway, my father left me when I was young, and I'm feeling like and he was about less than 9 years old. I'm feeling like I was just like him. And here is the real kicker. And he has some type of deal that he may not be able to have children. But let me just go on. I skipped what that thing is. He says, if I get married again the right way, I may not be able to have more children. He says, so anyway, this email has been long enough. I'm looking for advice. I prefer we could speak on the phone, but if not, I understand. I know you're a busy man, and I will leave my number and just in case. But either way, may the Most High continue to bless you and your new wife. Your story is great, my brother. Shalom. So, guys, these are the type of stories these are the type of people that I'm running. That people that are coming into the truth, that want to be able to follow the Most High, and their family is being broken up. But this is what Yeshua told us. And so the reason why I titled this thing Ugly Duckling is I wanted to kind of just give you the plot, not to read the whole story to you, but I wanted to read because some of you guys may have never heard of the ugly duckling. So I wanted to just give you the plot. I just got it off of Wikipedia. And so I'm going to read it to you about the plot. It says, when the story begins, the mother duck egg hatch. One of the little birds perceived by other birds and animals on the farm as the ugly little creature suffered much verbal and physical abuse from them. Are we still good? Okay. Yes, and he wandered sadly from the barnyard and lived with wild ducks and geese until hunters slaughtered the flocks. He found a home with an old woman, but her cat and hen teased and taunted him mercilessly, and once again he set off alone. The duckling sees a flock of migrating wild swans. He is delighted and excited, but he cannot join them, for he is too young and cannot fly. Winter arrives. A farmer finds and carries the freezing little ducklings home, but Fondling is frightened by the farmer's noisy children and flees the house. He spends a miserable winter alone in the outdoors, mostly hiding in caves on the lake that partially freezes over when spring arrives and flocks and swans descend on the lake. And the ugly duckling, now having full grown and mature, is unable to endure a life of solitude and hardship anymore and decides to throw himself at the flock of swans and decide that it is better to be killed by such beautiful birds than to live a life of ugliness and misery. He is shocked when the swans welcome and accept him, only to realize by looking at his reflection in the water that he was in fact not a duckling, but a swan all this time. The flock takes to the air, and now beautiful swans spread his glorious large wings and take flight with the rest of his new kind of family. Guys, I truly believe before we were created, each and every one of us who has come into this truth, I believe that he already knew us before our parents even came, before the foundation of the earth. He already knew us, and he put us in these families. What we call our natural family, what we call our natural father and mother and our brothers and our sisters, right? In the neighborhood. Just like this ugly duckling, right? He was an egg that happens to be among ducks. And the whole time he was trying to be a duck, and he never felt like he belonged. He always said, why can't I quack like they can quack? Why can I not swim the way they swim? And his siblings, who he thought was his siblings, literally was making fun of them. If you read the story, they giggled. It was so bad that the mother duck had to take him aside and try to train him to try to get him to act more like a duck. But it just never, ever worked out. And his whole life, he's living this whole thing because he's trying to be something he just didn't know, but he thought he was a duck. And that's what happens to all of us. We think we're part of our natural family. And the whole time, your true natural family, because you were chosen, because you were predestined from the beginning, and your real family is the kingdom of Yah, the children of Yah. But you don't know it until you go through all of these different trials and tribulations and everything, and then you run it. I got to admit, since I've been a part of Straightway, it's the first time I ever felt like I belong. I felt like, man, I'm with people that are just like me. People who's been rejected. I mean, there's nothing that I say that they can't relate to. They weren't popular, and if they were popular, sometimes it was negative, but no matter what it is, we all felt different. I mean, David, you tell me, did you always felt, maybe you in the truth. How did you feel? You probably was the popular one in school, huh? Everybody, just loved you. You was the man. Talk to me.
Me
you
too.
Got beat. Me too. Oh,
me too.
Me too. We got the Me Too movement here. See,
the Hebrew Me Too movement.
We got the Me Too.
And this is not to say that people who had maybe there are people in the ministry who were the popular ones, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying I think that it's very common in our ministry, and even the ones that I would say the people who were popular, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the reason why a lot of those people even sought out that position is because they didn't feel accepted.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I think we had a conversation about just ugly women versus not ugly women,
mm-hmm.
and how pretty women might even actually deal with maybe more levels of rejection,
mm-hmm.
because that's all they have for validation.
Mm.
It's just looks, right? And I think that in my position, I mean, I was the immigrant, right? I was the black-haired, little Mexican kid in school, and I was always the one that had an accent growing up. So I worked really hard to work on my American accent. So when you guys probably think I'm white behind behind the picture and all that, just because of how I speak. But that's years of, I guess, being rejected to try to sound and formulate my speech in a way that would be more accepted in a white society, I guess, if you could say. But anyway, this is not about race.
Yeah.
Right? So, and I mean, I even my dad. I remember my dad being discriminated in grocery stores because of how he looked, and I remember seeing my father try to stand up for him and his family. You know what I mean? So I guess I come from a line of being rejected. Even before as a child, you think like you just living life, right? And you're not worried about shoes. I remember we were talking about today, right? I was the guy wearing the 4-stripe Adidas because we grew up poor, so we couldn't afford real Adidas. So I remember trying to get baggy pants just to cover the 4th stripe to make people think that, hey, he's got real Adidas on. And I mean, you can ask my brother, or the people I grew up with, I guess, but I relate. Me too.
Like I can think of stories like, I'm gonna see if I can think of some stories that I went through. Like I remember one time I was in elementary, right? These are the type of stuff that happened to me, and maybe you can relate to it. But all of the stuff that I went through, I had to overcome. I didn't even know it at the time, but all of these small rejections. Because I'm gonna tell you, the reason why I call it small rejection, it used to be big rejection. Until I met my biggest match is when my ex-wife left me after 16 years, took half my money, took all my children, destroyed everything I built, everything that I worked hard to build, a good name, try to train up my children the way they should go, according to Deuteronomy 6:4, train them up. Destroyed everything that I've ever worked for to be able to say, man, look, to be able to leave a righteous seed, destroyed it. But before this, I don't know if I didn't have these little things. Like, for example, I was a child. I remember I was in elementary. I remember playing basketball and somebody gave me a piece of gum. And I'm thinking like, oh, that's so nice. He gave me a piece of gum, right? I opened it up. I put it in my mouth. I'm chewing. And everybody who was there saw it were laughing. And I'm trying to figure out, why are they laughing? Because what I didn't know is the guy literally chewed on it, stomped on it on the ground, and put it back in the wrapper to make it look like it, and I'm here eating it. And they're just like, ha, 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 ha. Literally. This is the type of stuff that I had to deal with growing up. I don't know why I was always being picked on. I never tried to hurt anybody. I just wanted to be loved like any other child. I just wanted to belong. I just wanted to do the right thing, but this is the type of stuff that people were doing to me when I was growing up. And I was skinny at the time. I was very small. It really wasn't until I kind of came into my own that I didn't experience all that type of stuff as much because I was bigger, but I still knew what it was like to be the little guy. I knew what it was like to be the nobody. And so I remember I just told you about the girl at the prom, how that happened to me. I remember even with the Green Bay Packers, I will never forget with the Green Bay Packers, I had this guy, I'll even say his name. I won't say his name because I don't want you guys, look at the guy there.
Let's stay monetized.
No, it's not my time.
Okay.
But it was this guy who was put it this way, during my years, he was considered a strong Christian, and he was a white guy. So I'm gonna just leave it as that. And I thought we were buddies because of our faith in Jesus Christ. We were both defensive end. Oops, okay, well, I may have given some stuff away there, but we were both bookends and everything like that. And I remember during the practice, one of the teammates that, put a worm in my helmet. I wasn't paying, it was during break. He put a worm in my helmet. Didn't know nothing. The other said, defense, let's go. Went out there, I put my helmet on, and I'm sitting there thinking like, what's going on? Something was in my head. Back in the days I was bald. And the whole time I'm looking, I could see my teammate, and I could tell he knew what was going on. It was like they were waiting for something to happen. And the coach is talking, and I'm like, what is going on? I took it off, and there's this big worm in my helmet. And everybody just bust out laughing. And the guy who I thought had my back sit there and laughing at me. And it brought me back to when I was just a little child. I mean, and at that time, I was dealing with arrested development until I got delivered later on. But that really hurt. And I'm talking about I was playing for the Green Bay Packers. I was already the team sack leader. And I was still dealing with things that I was dealing as a child my whole life. College, I can tell you stories in college, people. I mean, girlfriend breaking up with me just for no reason. Says, gave me one of these lines, it's not you, but it's me. I mean, these are the type of stuff that I had to deal with. And now I'm actually established myself. I make it to the pros. I show that, I have some type of value. And then all of a sudden, what happens? I get married. I treat this woman with, I loved her like the Bible says, love her my own body, made sure. Took a woman who had a horrendous past and made her beautiful because of what I have done. Nothing that she has done, but everything that I have done. Because of my reputation, all of a sudden it was a covering for her to make her look good. And then she ended up taking all that I worked for, and she got all that I worked for, and then I got left out. A whole community rejected me. Now I'm experiencing rejection at a whole nother level. I'm talking about a whole nother level. And mind you, you guys have to understand, me moving up, even before I came into Christianity, maybe I did deal with bitterness, but I still, even as a Christian, I always had the ability to bounce back, forgive. Didn't even know I was doing that, but didn't know how to do it. I didn't really do it from a biblical perspective. Really didn't do it because what it was is this is how I was bouncing back before I came to know Jesus. The way I was doing it was I was always going to say, I'm going to prove people wrong. I'm going to make them regret how they rejected me by being successful. I didn't know how I was going to be successful. I used to have thoughts that, man, when I go back to my high school reunion, man, I'm going to come in a helicopter. And who is this guy coming in? And, I was going to be like Tony Montana. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the stuff that I had in my mind. But it wasn't until I became a believer that I learned that. So it was that chip on my shoulder that what kind of drove me all those years to be good on the football field and to do the things I did. It was the chip that was driving me. It wasn't Jesus. I would say it was, but I thought it was Jesus, but it was really the chip on my shoulder to prove people wrong. And it wasn't until I got delivered. And that's why deliverance is so important. When I finally got delivered and really understood what healing really meant and what it really meant to forgive, I start learning how to forgive people on a whole nother level. Not to act it, because I was acting, because part of the act was acting like I forgave, acting like it didn't bother me, because my whole goal was to get people to say, man, I'm so sorry that I did that. I said, I forgive you, man. I'm the bigger person. That to me was a victory, but it was from a place of bitterness. It was not from a godly place. And then when I truly got delivered from the spirit of bitterness, now I could truly, genuinely forgive people. And my biggest match came with my ex-wife. As much, I know you guys see my story, but at the end of the day, I just saw my ex-wife, right?
Yeah.
At court. I haven't seen her in over a year since the last time I saw her. More, yeah, maybe more, because August was
August, almost a year, yeah.
Oh, yeah, August, yeah. So I saw her in September, right? So just a little bit over a year. And for something, I didn't have any like ill will towards her. Didn't have any type of. I mean, it's just like this. I mean, she tried. Said hi, Bree. About that, and they were trying.
Tell them, because I asked you. I said, what did you? Because I asked you. Remember, I asked you. What did you?
I asked the question. Yeah.
I asked you. What did you feel, or what rose up in you? And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you said you had a lot of pity for her. Mm-hmm. And obviously you saw a level of reprobateness, which is obvious, but maybe speak on that. Why the level of compassion that you, at this point, obviously, maybe in the beginning
years.
it was a lot.
It was
anger,
hard,
right? But now you're in a position where, like, man, I just really feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about
now
that.
and it's funny. I want to share even our conversation, and how we. But I gotta say that the part that was good for me is just seeing her not having any type of ill will to her, meaning like wanted to just I don't know. I mean, just whatever I was experiencing in the beginning, I was at peace. I had my woman with me, Sister Bree. She was with me. just trying to deal with the court situation. But I was telling David when he asked me, I said it was so sad. I saw a woman that I lived life with, that I felt responsible for 16 years, right? That I felt responsible for. And all of a sudden I'm saying, this is a woman that I had children with. This is a woman that I lived life with. This is a woman that I loved. And when I looked in her, when I saw in her eyes, I saw a woman without a soul. It was like, the word that came to me is she's reprobate. Because I'm like, how is she functioning without any type of remorse, without any type of, what is she standing on? What is motivating her? It's truly not the word of Yah. And that's what blew me away. And I pity her. It was like kind of like what Mr. T would say, I pity the fool. I literally pity her, because what she was doing was literally filling her cup. And the fact that she was coming for the little bit of money left, it just said she was in a sad condition. And so
it kind of goes back. Pastor talks about hell, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we talked about how hell in many parts in the Bible talks about just a withdrawal of God's presence and not having the opportunity to repent. You know what I mean? And I would say, this is my opinion, according to what that said. Now you can tell me what you think, but it's almost better to have remorse, to identify that you are wrong in order to repent from that wrong. Then it's a sure sign of Yah's spirit being removed almost, to see her in a position of no remorse. No remorse. She was actually the opportunity to repent. She was literally pride. She said hi to you. Yeah. She said hi. She didn't even say hi to you, but she was very proud and very confident. And I'm thinking like, wow. I just pity her. She's really gonna have to come to. If there's any hope for her, she's gonna really have to come into herself. But what was interesting about me was it's the same thing that I've always experienced. I've always had to come to a point where I had to forgive others so I can move on. That's what I've learned. I've learned if you don't forgive, you're not going to move on. The person holds you captive when you are in bitterness. When you don't, and the only way you can be bitter is when something has been done to you. In this case, something was done to me. And so I have the opportunity to be offended and to be bitter. But one thing I learned from my past experience being made fun of when I was in elementary to junior high to high school, college, in the pros, is that I had to forgive and forget what happened in the past and move forward. And that's all I've ever done. And so I really believe that all those times that I was going through, it was preparing me for moments like what happened to me with my ex-wife of 16 years. It reminded me of the story of the ugly duckling. And then finally, the very thing that I've been looking for, going through all of this stuff, like being rejected by the church, being rejected by my ex-wife, being rejected by the community, just being rejected from friends and everything. And all of a sudden, I found a bunch of people who were considered cults. These are the cults and the weird people and the black pastor like Pastor Dow and what all the name, child abusers and women who are oppressed. And all of a sudden I'm like, these are my people. These, just like the ugly duckling thought, he was wondering why he didn't fit in, because that wasn't his family. His real family were the swans. And I know that, guys, I just want to do a what they call it, a disclaimer. A disclaimer. I understand swans are not clean animals, okay? But it's just a story. Because I don't know, you may run into those people. Metaphor. But they weren't the family. And now, being part of Straightway, I now know this is my natural family. This is my real family, not my natural, whatever I'm born with. But this is my family. Sister Bree, my wife, she also experienced that the people that she grew up with, she always would, something that Bree was saying, she said, I always felt, and she's a beautiful woman. You guys see Bree, she's a beautiful woman. And she always felt like, she grew up in a blended home and always felt like, how come her dad never favored her? She always said, my dad always favored this, but how about me? And she's the last child of her father and always felt left out, always didn't feel smart enough or whatever, And she was wondering, like, how come
what about me? And I said, and I remember having a conversation with Bree. I said, Bree, how about this? How about this for a second? The same way you feel about how your dad never really gave you that attention or whatever, or you felt left out. But let's flip it. Your heavenly Father has chosen you and hasn't chosen your siblings. You have been chosen, and they have not. And she was like, wow, that's a different way to look at it. And so she, all this time is because she never really belonged to that family. And I met a lot of her family. A lot of them are women, and each and every one of them are Jezebel. You see covert Jezebel, you see overt, a lot of overt, and you see the coverts. But Bree is not, she's just not a part of that fold. And that's why she never belonged, because she desires to follow the Most High.
It's like that verse, right, that says, I have pulled you out of the world, right?
Yes, if you go to John 15, let me go here. Let me read here John 15 here. If I can, why is my thing not working here? Let me see here. Hold on. I'm trying to practice, see if I can use this my computer here to do my Bible. So John 15:18 says, if the world hates you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. But if you were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, Jesus says, but I have chosen you out of the world. Therefore the world hate you. Remember the words that I have said unto you. The servant is not greater than his Lord. If they persecuted me, they will also persecute you. And if they kept my sayings, they will keep yours also. But all these things they will do unto you, ugly duckling, brother ugly. No, I'm just joking. But they'll do all these things unto you for my name's sake. Because, why would they do this? Because they know not him that sent me. So, guys, this is it. If you're experiencing rejection, if you're coming into the truth, part of coming into the truth, part of the initiation that you got to get comfortable with is you will be rejected. Rejection is a part of being a part of the truth. If you go to 1 Timothy, I believe let me see, is it 1 Timothy?
Yes,
Is it 1 Timothy?
And while you look that up, brother, I just want to say this real quick, that something that you say all the time that I really like is get comfortable in being uncomfortable. And I think that's such a powerful, and we might not really think about it very often, but that's such a powerful mindset to be in, and getting comfortable and being uncomfortable. And I think that just comes, like what you said, just through life experiences and different environments that we've all been through to prepare us for a great test, right? So
yes, sir. So if you go here in 2 Timothy chapter 3, let me get the context of verse 10. You can't get enough of word. It says, but thou hast fully known my doctrine, manner of life, purpose of faith, long suffering. Guys, long suffering is part of being in this truth. If you're not being persecuted, you're not in the truth. It's like playing football. If you ain't getting dirty, you ain't playing. There was people who were on the bench. They knew that if they ain't dirty, they ain't playing. So to look like they were playing, they knew at least enough to roll in the dirt just so they looked like they played in the game. But they was riding the bench. So guys, this is part of the game. If you, I remember, it'll be like this. I remember Coach, why am I getting double teamed? I'm being triple teamed. I can't get to the quarterback. He says, Kabir, the reason why you're being double teamed and triple teamed and cut and all of those different things is because you are being effective. And the reason why they're doing all this, they got all these people on you, is because they're trying to slow you down. They're trying to discourage you. If they can just discourage you and get you watching for everybody that's blocking you, now they can focus on their game plan. And so when I found out that me being double teamed is actually helping the team, guess what? I said, well, it's going to take 11 guys to block me. And so I started to expect that I'm going to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. Because if I'm being blocked, that means my other teammates are being open and they can get to the quarterback and cause havoc. And you know, in football, you can't put that many guys on one man. And so I start learning how to beat 2 men, 3 men. I knew when they went to do a chip block, where I'm on the offensive lineman, and then the running back try to come in there and act like he's going out for a pass, and then they try to hit me in my rib. So then the whole game, I'm looking around, seeing where's my blind spot, or they try to cut me and high-low me and all this stuff. So when you start knowing that you're going into a fight and you're going to be double teaming, it doesn't become a problem anymore. You actually expect to get double teamed. And when you're one-on-one, oh man, they're going to have hell to pay. And so that's what we have to have. You're going to be rejected. And I'm not saying that their feelings not, guys, even today as I speak to you, I know I speak with confidence and boldness. But guys, even I have to work through the emotion of being rejected of the community. It still blows my mind to this day. It still blows my mind. But I got to keep my eyes on the prize. I got to keep my eyes on the quarterback. It hurts, getting double team, triple team, being rejected. It's part of the game. And until you get used to knowing that's part of being in this truth, you can really start moving and just causing havoc. What I went through, people commit suicide. I can relate. I remember watching this show. We was actually I was taking my client. He was actually trying to buy a house that used to be owned by Brett Favre. And I remember him and his wife were going through the house. And I'm like, man, I remember being in this house because I was here for a Bible study when I was with the Packers. When one time Brett Favre opened up his house to do a Bible study, really his wife did, Deanna Favre. And so I was just looking at it because I'm kind of looking at it from a perspective. Now I get to see what the house had and everything. But they had the TV on. And there was a guy in there where his wife handed him divorce papers. And you can, in the movie or whatever the movie is, you can hear his thoughts. And all of a sudden, his career and everything was going on. And he was contemplating suicide and everything. I'm like, oh my goodness. I can literally relate to the man in this movie. I'm talking about not just like look at it from outside like, wow, is that what he's dealing with? No, I can relate on a personal level because I was going through the same thing he was going through. And I was further along, but I was listening to like, man, I understand. It is hard, but I thank Yah. I thank Yah for Pastor Dow. I thank Yah for Straightway Truths. I thank Yah for leading me to Straightway Truths because now I found my true family. And if you're one of these people that Yah is calling, and if you hear my voice, if you're watching this show, Yah's obviously led you here. I'm telling you, there's a place for you. But you got to be willing to be able to handle persecution. It's part of the truth. Let me keep reading. It says, I was reading in 2 Timothy, it says, but thou hast fully known my doctrine, manner of life, purpose of faith, long suffering, charity, patience, right? And it says this, it says persecution. That's what the ugly duckling had to deal with. That's what Yeshua, our master, had to deal with. That's what I have to deal with. To be in this truth, Pastor Dow had to deal with. The reason why Pastor Dow can do what he does for us and be able to be, because he had to experience it. You don't think that the reason why he was able to help me through my situation is because he's gone through it before in some form in his way. He had to overcome. And so he was able to help me to work through the emotions, to work through this, to continue to stay focused. I mean, I felt like he was a coach. He said, son, stand. I said, Pastor, what do I need to do? Sometimes I wanted to call him coach. What do I need to do? He said, son, go in your room and you cry. And if you're one of those people in that situation, you cry, mourn, grieve, because it's hard. It's hard to lose a wife. It's hard to lose children that you love. And you know that you have to give up. It was hard. I mean, to know that I had to give up 7 children, 8 children at the end of the day. I had to give up the strange woman according to Ezra chapter 10. It says, give up the strange wives. Read that. Get Ezra 10. I had to give them up because I knew that I couldn't be in this walk and still have my life. Because part of being in this walk is I had to be willing to lose my life, to save my life. And if I saved my life, I was going to lose my life. Do you guys hear me? I know it sounds like I used to read that and never understood what it means to lose your life so you can save your life. And to save your life is to lose your life. If I would have tried to save my marriage, Christianity is big on, it's all about the marriage. It's focused on the family. You got to save the marriage. You got to save your children. You got to fight for your children. And that is a trap. It's a deception from the devil, because there's nowhere in the Bible that tells you got to save your family. People act like divorce is a sin. It's not a sin to get a divorce. It's not a sin to put away your wife and your children if you're doing it for the kingdom's sake. Jesus himself said that he comes not to bring peace, but division. Did he say he's going to come bring division in the community? No, he said he's going to bring division within a family unit. But in Christianity, they don't talk about that. They don't. Have you ever heard them talk about that in Christianity, Brother David? Mm-mm. I mean, you've been in Christianity. You was knee deep. It's always about the family. They literally make the family a god. They literally teach you how to worship your family. And that at any means necessary, you do what it takes to keep that family together. I just had a pastor day tell me that I had a beautiful wife. Not my new woman. He's talking about my old woman, the ex one, Eileen. He says, man, she had 8 of your children. You had a good thing. Who's the one that can determine if I had a good thing? A pastor who doesn't even live with me, or me? Who can do that, Brother David?
You know, the question that I ask is, they make it seem, now this is a different topic.
You're the pastor too.
But I will say that every time you talk to a Christian about this topic, they make it seem like she's the only one who can have children for you.
Yep.
But we already know through Scripture and through the law that you can have many women and have many children. She's not the all.
But that's how
the children to come to your life. You can have multiple women.
And they make the woman seem like she's divine. And they make it seem like we men are the branches. But men, you are divine just as Christ is divine. And women are the branches. And if they want to bear fruit, they need to be abiding in the husband. And then they will be able to bear much fruit.
Do you want me to read this, Ezra?
Yes.
I'm guessing verse 3, right?
Verse 3, yes.
Okay, it says, now therefore let us make a covenant with our Yah, our Elohim, to put away all the wives and such as are born of them according to the counsel of my master, and of those that tremble at the commandment of our Elohim, and let it be done according to the law.
So, and then is there 12?
Verse 12?
I think it's 12. Let me see.
Then all the congregation answered and said with a loud voice, as thou hast said, so must we do. But the people are many, and it is the time of much rain. I don't know if you want to go
okay, is there about wives? Hold on.
That was verse 3, it said.
I know, but they also talked about it in...
Then arose Ezra and made that of Israel. Ezra rose up from...
Okay, maybe 10. Is it 10?
I'm on chapter 10, verse 10?
No, chapter 10, verse 10. It's somewhere in there.
And Ezra the priest stood up and said unto them, ye have transgressed and have taken strange wives to increase the trespass of Israel. Now therefore make confession unto Yah, our Elohim, of your fathers, and do his pleasure, and separate yourselves from the people of the land and from the strange wives.
So, guys, this is in the Old Testament. It's telling you to separate yourself from your strange wife. I was married to a strange woman. Now, guys, I'm not telling you just because your woman I'm not getting to this whole doctrine, who's Israel, who's not. If your woman won't follow you, she's a strange woman. That's what makes her strange. It's the spirit. That's what makes her strange. Not the color, what's the color of her skin or what you think she is. She will identify if she is his or not.
Based off her fruit.
Based off of the fruit. Jesus says you will know them by their fruits. If you go to 1 Corinthians 7, go to 1 Corinthians, let me go to 1 Corinthians 7. Go to 1 Corinthians 7 and look what it says. If you want, because there's a lot of people going through this stuff. And if you have a woman and you think that she may not be a believer, look what Paul suggests. Now I say suggest. This is not a commandment. This is Paul suggesting on how men to deal with an unbeliever woman, and also women how to deal with an unbeliever husband. So it's not just one way. But let me read verse 10. 1 Corinthians 17 says, And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord. Now this is the Lord. Let not the wife depart from her husband. So if you have a non-believing husband, do not depart. But if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away the wife. This is my situation. My ex-wife left me. Never ever put her out. Never ever wrote her a bill of divorce, and never put it into her hands according to Deuteronomy 24. Never done it. Everything, the breakup of my home, because I was keeping the commandments of Yah, starting with keeping the Sabbath day holy, she walked out those doors. She took all my seed and left, and has never come back since. What do? I tried to bring her back, told her to come. She rebelled. She disobeyed me. Because in Christianity, you don't have to obey your husband. You can disobey your husband. And they think they're doing it for Yah. But they're not. Or for their God, not for Yah.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Brother? Because I obviously I'm privy to the conversations that you have with
bring
the
it
local
up.
Christians, right?
Yes.
And I think
And this is where I get some of my inspiration too. But anyway, go.
A common thing that keeps coming up where you just have to be patient, right? I think I don't want to name names. I was going to say names. But,
Yeah.
Okay, but just the fact
This is a story, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. The context, right?
Yeah.
But how many times have you heard, well, you just weren't patient enough, or you got to be patient. Well, I'm patient with my wife, and if we got to be like Christ, we got to be patient. All this stuff, right? But let's really deal with the facts. Do you believe that your ex-wife had the same or even more opportunities to choose truth over the lie than even you had? I mean, how many times did you have Straightway come in here before you made the concrete choice to follow Straightway as a ministry?
How many times?
How many times did you have Straightway come here?
One time. I mean,
I'm saying
but
before
never,
you even made that choice.
I made the choice before Straightway came into
saying.
here. I'm
So,
the one that was
I guess I'm trying to set it up.
Okay.
So, because we've
I just had a dream.
Right, you just
I
had a dream,
had
right?
one
You were just
message.
convicted.
I was
just based on
convicted
that.
off of the dream. Now he may have been trying to talk to me before, but when I had that
It's
dream,
very clear.
bro.
But
I'm a scary cat. I fear the Yah.
Now, to her defense,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
She didn't go to Straightway. But
she's
also
been
to
in
her conviction and to her, if we're dealing with law here.
Yeah.
How many times has Straightway come here and gave her an opportunity to actually visit and make her own judgment on the matter?
4 times, I think.
more than you. You had to go. You had to travel.
Guys, I went to go see Straightway for myself. I put boots on the ground. It didn't look as good as Brother Michael boots, but I put boots, or whatever it's called, Crocs, on the ground. I went to go see Straightway for myself. Pastor Dow opened up his doors, opened up his arms, says, talk to anybody you want to talk to. Very welcoming. I mean, everybody make it seem like it's a cult. They got guns. Yeah, they had guns. But they were the most friendliest people in the world that I've ever experienced. The most friendliest, the best, genuine love. And I went there, and then finally, Pastor Dow, out of the kindness of his heart, was willing to come up to Green Bay. Never been to I don't think he's ever been to Green Bay before. Kate was willing to come up to Green Bay, Wisconsin, just for Kabir.
In the freezing cold.
Cane Day, the boy that got made fun of. You got Pastor Dow, great ministry and everything, was willing to come up here. Now, guys, you'll probably say, well, Kabir, duh, you're a Packer player. Okay, maybe you see yourself one way. Guess what? I am not the only one that Pastor Dow does this for. He does this for anyone that belongs to the Most High. Remember Brandon, Brother Brandon? He was willing to come up to Chicago to talk to his man's pastor. He even was calling me. Call what's his name so I can get
a date.
Get a date. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I'm a witness of Pastor Dow's
generosity. And he was in it for 2 years and he quit. 2 years he quit because of his wife, because he saved his life. Because he saved his life, he really now lost his life.
So
Pastor Dow, who are you?
Right.
I mean, you're just a short little guy from Chile.
Hey.
Okay, I'm getting my stuff.
Now you're bullying.
Okay.
You're ugly. Oh, shit.
You know I love you.
But to kind of get back to the question, so do you believe that your ex-wife? I don't want to say names.
Yeah.
I just want to separate myself and be an spectator from the outside looking in, right? Because I don't want to be biased. Now, I love you, brother.
Elder Becker just said that Pastor Dow has been doing this for 20 years. You guys haven't even heard some of the testimonies. Wait till you guys do the Berean moment. Check out the Berean moment. Woo! It's gonna season 2 is gonna blow you away, because now you're gonna be talking to people that was with Pastor Dow for 20 years. We got people like Elder Becker, Teacher Shane. We got people like Sister Barb, Sister Diane. I mean, Sister Vicky. We got people that's been there, and then you got Deacon Bell, Mother Carol,
his father.
Guys, you gotta check out season 2, the Berean moment. I mean, we're gonna be promoting it. It's not out. But here's the part that was so amazing about talking to these people in the Berean moment, that you hear how Pastor Dow was doing this in the basement when there was no YouTube. Him going out talking to literally people at midnight. I think they were hustlers or pimps or drug dealers. Who does that? People here get on Pastor Dow today because he's now on the streets, read, and then Pastor Dow has been doing this stuff. And now he's literally a manifestation. What you see today at Straightway it's been years. Pastor Dow has been doing. He's doing community. He's doing it, and now he is a leader in the Hebrew Israelite community and truly keeping this commandment. He's doing it. There's no one that's out there doing what Pastor Dow is doing that I know of. There's not one person that can make that claim. I'm glad that he let me here. So check out the Berean. I just want to put a plug in for the Berean season 2 for Berean moment.
Check out the first season.
And check out the first season to get you ready for that. But the part that's amazing is that what Pastor Dow did for me, you can sit here and say that he did it because I was a Green Bay Packer or a former player, or he was trying to just use me so that he can. Pastor Dow already had thousands of people on his YouTube channel, okay? He doesn't need me. I need him. I needed him. And he's been a blessing to me. I'm indebted to that man. I thank Yah for Pastor Dow. I know Pastor Dow say I'm not indebted to him, but I am. Because I appreciate the fact that Pastor Dow was obedient to the Most High. Because he's not only, because here's the thing, what did I always end my show with? I try to end my show and remind you guys, be faithful in the little things. If you're not faithful in everything, in anything, you're not gonna be faithful in everything. And so when I came along, how you do anything is how you do everything. And if Pastor Dow wasn't, I know he didn't, I wasn't the first one. I know Pastor, it doesn't surprise me that he did this for people that you don't even know of, you would never probably hear of. And so when I came onto the scene, it was easy for him to say, I'll be up there. And matter of fact, I'll bring my wife up there. And matter of fact, can you just find a place up there? Because I know your wife may not come, but I'm just going to come up there. We will make this into to some type of speaking engagement. And so I'm getting the place done. And I said, Pastor, I got the spot. He said, okay, we'll take it from here. What do you mean? I don't I'm supposed to pay for it because you only come out here to meet my wife.
Didn't he come here and go shopping? Or
he went shopping. Filled up my kitchen. God, I've never.
So you had the Pastor Dow come to your own backyard, but not even Pastor Dow.
Elder Rufus came.
And then Pastor Corey.
Then Pastor. So you had Elder Rufus. You had big time. Elder Rufus comes and he drives up here, and I appreciate that. I'm like, wow. And guys, you have to understand. I understand. Maybe I should expect it because I'm a Green Bay Packer or whatever. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm in Green Bay, Wisconsin, Packer Hall of Famer. I was respected in the community, in the Christian community, and in the community. Even on the state level, if I ran for governor, I probably would have won. I probably would have won if I ran, or at least make a good run for it. And can you believe this? Literally, I'm at the worst time of my life. I've never asked anybody for help. I've always been giving, gave thousands and millions of dollars to the Christian cause in this community. And the day Kabir finally needed help, I'm cashing in. I need help. Mayday, Mayday, the Gbaja-Biamila family, the house of Kabir is under attack. I need help. And not one single pastor, Christian pastor, let me say that because there was a pastor, but he doesn't consider himself a Christian, but not one single Christian pastor came to my aid. The people that I did not come. Only one guy, but he's not a Christian, Pastor Ray. He was the only one, and he doesn't even live in town. So I only put a plug in for that. But not one single Christian pastor came to my aid. Not one single non-commandment keeping pastor, Christians, grace, love, all this stuff did not come. And they're within 12 minutes, 10 minutes, no friends, they didn't come. And if they did come, they came to try to get me to acquiesce and capitulate to my ex-wife. That's all. And Pastor Dow come on his own dime, flew into Green Bay. Elder Rufus drove in from Georgia. That's 15 hours, I may say, maybe 16 hours. Elder Rufus, maybe if he's on there, he can tell you how many hours his drove. But he drove all the way. And his wife, Sister Jennifer, mother, and Pastor Dow even brought Mother Carol.
So I guess
brought Mother Carol here.
The whole point,
man.
brother,
I mean, let me calm down here.
The whole
man.
point, I guess, I'm trying to make is: do you believe that there's any excuse?
You're none. She had more.
I never had an opportunity to know whether this was right or wrong.
Let me tell you something. When she stand before the Most High, David, she's gonna have hell to pay. Because even in the Christian, if you use the Christian theology, let's just use Christian thinking, whatever that means. Okay, that's so abstract. They believe in grace. They believe in mercy. They believe that God is a God of mercy. He's a God of grace. Well, there's some truths, but it's out of context, right? Yah was so gracious to Eileen. I got just a dream. That's about it. And that was enough to get me to start acting right. And Yah was gracious enough to send Pastor Dow and Elder Rufus the first time to give Eileen an opportunity. And Pastor Dow said, I'll talk to anybody. He came on a Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, or a Thursday. He came on a Wednesday and said, I will meet with anybody that your wife can come in there. I will meet with anybody. And Pastor Dow was first going to come by himself and say, I'll bring Mother Carol here too, just so she can have a woman's perspective. Eileen did not show up. Matter of fact, the day she showed up, she was within 10 yards. 10 yards. If she would have walked through the front door like she's done every single time when she was dropping off the children, when we had our visitation, because I had visitation, if she would have walked through those doors, she would have been able to meet Pastor Dow face to face and to be able to do. And guess what? She wouldn't even get out of her car. And the day, I didn't even know what it was, but she was literally manifesting. She was like biting her nails, like, what is going on? But she literally dropped the children off in front of the carport here and took off.
The wicked flee.
The wicked flee when no one pursued, but the righteous is bold as a lion. I mean, it kind of reminded me of Star Wars. Guys, please don't judge me. It's just movies, okay? But it reminded me, it's like I sense a force. She sensed there was somebody here. I mean, because how did she not know? She knew that he was coming in maybe on a Friday, but she didn't know how his travel. But she knew that he was there. It was a spirit. And she manifested. And then when she came and picked up the children, that this time Pastor Dow was in the guest house talking to Ron Young and Chris Steinberger. And she came into the house with confidence. As if, how did she know?
The spirit knew.
Maybe she called the things and where's that pastor or whatever. She came in with confidence because she knew that Pastor Dow was on the other side of the house, came and got the children. But when Pastor Dow was right there by the foyer in the living area, some of you guys been to my home, right there at Praiseland, she would not even come to the door. So she had an opportunity there. Then the second opportunity, Pastor Dow sent for Pastor Corey and brought him up here with his wife, Sister Gabby, and I remember Zizi. They came up. And this time she's at the door, and guess who else is there? My brother Daniel Muir. This is Daniel doing his own investigation on this thing.
This is her first time.
This is his first time. first time meeting anybody from Straightway. And Sister Chris came, former NFL wife. Brother Daniel's a former NFL player, like myself. His wife was his wife while he was playing. She came with her head covered. She even had pants on, if I'm not mistaken. If Sister Chris remember, she had pants on, but she was willing to come in and learn, and she saw the beauty in the stuff. And then it was the same time Eileen dropped off my children again. This is not only just an opportunity of Brother David. Brother David, you hear what I'm saying?
I'm listening.
This is not. She literally came to the door when Pastor Corey was here, and she purposely skipped or avoided that opportunity to meet them. But here's the crazy part. I think it was Sister Chris, former NFL player. Me and Daniel played together for the Packers. Eileen and them probably even did Bible study. Sister Chris went outside to go talk to my ex-wife and try to tell her about, come and check this out. This is your home. Come and check it out, blah, blah, blah. I think she mentioned that Kabir is a racist now. They said, wait a minute, there's white people in there. So that threw that up. And then Brother Daniel came out and talked to her and try to give her a spiel. You can go to Brother Daniel's channel. You can see his testimony, or even on my channel, you see his testimony of what that conversation was. But they went out to go talk to her, and she still did not want, literally, and if I'm not mistaken, it was during the winter. And it was freezing cold outside. They even told her to come in. She wouldn't come in. Yes.
Okay. This always comes up.
Yes.
We got a person in the chat here that believes you're bitter.
Okay.
You're hurting.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, why is it that every time we're just speaking facts, we're just telling the story and giving background? Obviously, it might seem repetitive because
it is repetitive. But what am I saying?
But we have people who have never heard this before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, let me tell you something.
What do you think is the reason why these spirits come up here and says you're still hurt, you're bitter, I hope you find healing?
Guys, let me tell you something. I have people who live with me, okay? I have a woman now, okay? If I was literally bitter, I wouldn't remarry again. I wouldn't even want to have anything to do with women, okay? I still give a chance. I love that woman. Do you hear me? I love my new wife.
I would go as far as to say this. Now, this is me coming from the background, right? Brother Kabir actually has to almost force himself into this position to talk about the subject because he's past it.
I'm ready to move on, but here's the problem.
But who are you doing it for?
But look at guys. Hey, do you think that Yah allowed me to go through what I went through just to put it under a bow? Does the word not say that come out of my people, spare not, and share with everybody? Let me look up this stuff about the bow. I gotta find this stuff. Where can you find that one about when you find not to cover in a bush or something like that? I can't even think of it right now. But while he's looking for it up, guys, you think that Yah allowed me to go through this stuff just to keep it in the shelf and say, okay, that was my life, I'm moving on. Yeah, I'm moving on. But there's people literally are dying right now. There's people losing their family. There's women literally destroying homes for men who just want to keep the commandments of Yah. There's women too that's inspired who are with men who don't want to keep the truth. They want to keep the truth. So I am not going to keep this hidden. I'm going to continue to share this testimony, to be an encouragement for that. I got strengthened. Pastor Dow was the instrument and others, but he was the main instrument that Yah used to strengthen me, to give me strength. And now that I'm strengthened, I'm going back to go strengthen others. Can you imagine if Pastor Dow looked at me and says, you know something, that's your problem. If you can't do what I did, I'm not going to help you. I'm moving on. No, Pastor Dow loved me. He's the first pastor that truly, genuinely loved me. Do you have it? Read it.
Yes, sir. This is Matthew chapter 5, verse 15.
Matthew, go. What is it?
It says, neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works, glorify your Father which is in heaven.
Guys,
so really, you're bringing glory to who?
This is glory, hallelujah. Okay, guys, this is about a testimony of how Yah helped me. And if he can help me, he can help you. If you have been called, many are called, but few are chosen. But if you have been called, Yah has never forsaken the righteous. I am living proof. You guys have seen my story. I've documented. I'm glad I documented. I'm glad that Pastor Dow suggested that I should start a YouTube channel and I should put my story out there. I have to get, Pastor Dow told me to do it. And guess what? You know how many people told me not to do it? They said, don't do it. Now I got people come back and say, man, I'm glad you did it. I'm glad you did it. I said, now what? I'm just curious.
Can you imagine if
Pastor Dow told me to do this? And then people were telling me, oh man, you listen to that cult leader again. Keep this on the hush hush. Go work on your marriage, boom, boom, boom. Come back maybe 2 years when things settle down, boom, boom, boom. And Pastor Dow had the foresight to say, you should go do this stuff. It was actually therapeutic. But in my being therapeutic and really getting my story, because I never found closure until I started doing YouTube, it started being an inspiration to people. Not just the people I know, but all over the world. I'm talking to people in what was the city that we got, that we talked, Brother Freddie? What city? Somebody wrote an email or something like that.
I can't remember.
Austria, I don't know. All over the place. I'm talking to people in the Philippines. Amsterdam. Somebody from Amsterdam. I mean, what's the chance of that? Somebody from Australia. The Philippines. All over. Nigeria. I mean, so this is getting in, obviously, the United States. So, and then my brother came back and said, I know I told you not to. He called me back. We just finished. We hung up. He called me back and said, hey, I just want to let you know, I know I told you not to do this, but you're doing the right thing. I said, why are you saying this to me, brother? And he said, this is my natural brother. And he says, I didn't know, but what your story needs to be heard because there's a lot of other people going through this stuff and you are giving people strength. And we're not even talking about a person who's a commandment keeper. We're just talking about a man that's recognizing this feminist culture are destroying men, destroying our culture, just destroying families, destroying children by destroying the image and glory of Yah, which are men, not the women. Women are not the glory and image of Yah. They were not created. They were created in the glory of man. And so when we worship women, you're literally worshiping men. You become a God hater. You become a Yah hater. So I'm glad I'm telling this story because I got stories like this. I can easily move on and be selfish and say, hey, I got my wife. I got my community.
Shut it down. No more YouTube
Just shut it down and just move on. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, but it's not about me. That's why I tell my new Ishai, I tell it's not about us. Our marriage, this stuff, as much as there's people out there excited about our marriage, that's just praising Yah. Isn't that a good thing? Isn't it the Bible says that when people pray, when a good king, they praise Yah, hallelujah. But there's the same amount of people, or maybe even more, that's looking for our downfall. What did Ron Young says? It's just a matter of time. Wow. They're literally waiting for my downfall, but it's not going to happen. If Yah's with me, who can be against me? So I'm going to just keep on sharing, guys. So I'm not bitter. And I don't even care to even prove that I'm not bitter. If you think I'm bitter, then you don't have ears to hear and eyes to see. But those who truly knows the truth, the people, this guy, he didn't say I'm bitter. He just says, man, can you help me? Help me, strengthen me. Tell me how to overcome this stuff because it's hard. I have 2 children. I love my children. I may not be able to, because of my situation, I may never have any children. What do? Do I leave them so I can follow the Most High, or do I stay with my wife who's being rebellious, straight rebellious? The church already told them, if you will not drop this doctrine that you're believing, we're going to kick you out. Read John. Let me go to John. Let me show you something here. This is John. This is John 16:1. John 16:1 says this. These things I have, this is Jesus speaking, by the way. This is Jesus speaking 2,000 years ago. He says, these things I've spoken unto you that you should not be offended. Brother that wrote this email and all the people that's going through, don't be offended. Do not be offended. That's why I'm not offended about what Eileen has done to me. I'm not offended what the Christian community has done to me. Meaning, if I'm not offended, it means I'm not bitter. Jesus says, don't be bitter. Forgive all men. Let Yah deal with them. Wait on the Lord. He will deal with them. Vengeance belongs to him. It's not me. Matter of fact, if I try to do who can do better? Who can venge for me? Me or Yah? Which one would you choose? I'd rather choose Yah. And matter of fact, I'm not even going to, I'll make this public. I'm not going to even go after my children through the court system because I don't want to even give the court system any type of credit for restoring anything. If there's any chance of restoring my children, I'm going to keep standing where I've been standing, and I'm not going to use the court system to do it. I'm going to do it through his commandments. I'm going to do it through his means. So he gets all the credit and all the glory. I don't want to give credit to the wicked ass system. Yah's going to get all the credit. If my children come, it's going to be biblical. Have you ever heard of the prodigal son? When they came to the end of themselves and they humbled themselves, guess what? I have brothers and sisters, and guess what? I can even say they're servants. Man, they're going to say, man, my dad has servants in his home, and they eating better. And guess what? They're going to come back, and I can say, sisters, prepare a big meal. My son is alive. He was dead, but now he's alive. And so just like the father of the prodigal son had to be patient, long-suffering, I will wait till the day he comes. I just got somebody talking on my YouTube saying that my son is playing football for NEW Lutheran. And they say, man, he's a beast. He's only a freshman or a junior. I don't know what he is. And they said this dude is going to make it. He's going to probably play college ball. Have not yet gone to one game. One game. You know why? Because he plays on the Sabbath day. He plays on Friday night and he plays Saturday morning. But I'm not even going because I never gave him my blessing anyway. He never got permission from me. His mother's usurped my authority, and he's getting his mother blessing, but he has not got my blessing. So, hey, maybe he is going to be great. Maybe he'll be the next Reggie White, the next KGB better. Maybe he'll be better. Maybe he'll earn a lot of money. But guess what? What is a profit of man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul? Guys, everything, I love Yah. And people say, why don't you go to your son's game and show him that you love him? Give him your support. Well, son, the Bible says honor your father and mother. It's past due. 2 years you've dishonored me. 2 years. What's up with that? That's what the commandment. Where the Bible says go honor your children, it says that anything, don't give them any courtesy. I'm not going to sit there and support what he's doing when he's doing it in sin.
Establish preeminence.
I'm going to keep my preeminence. They say, you're being prideful. No, I'm the man. I'm not being prideful. I'm being in my role. They're being prideful because they need to humble themselves and come to the Father, not the Father to the Son. So, guys, I'm telling you, man, if you think I'm bitter, go ahead, call it what you want. But I know this is helping a lot. Even if it's just helping one person, it's worth it all. I know it's doing more than one, but it's worth it all. And I'm telling people, hey, just like the ugly duckling had to go, found out that he was no longer a duck, that he was a swan. I'm telling you, there's a place that's straightway. If you have truly come into this truth and you experiencing rejection, it's because that's not your real family. Your real family are the children of Yah. But you got to understand, you got to be okay with being rejected. What's up?
So we're getting a lot of questions in here, so maybe we can switch to
I love questions.
To Q&A here. Let's take a quick ministry break, and we'll come back, guys. Put your questions in the comments.
Okay, can I read this thing? Let me just read this because I got digressed, but I want to finish it.
Go ahead, brother.
John 16:2 says, they shall put you, don't be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Let's just call it today modern day Christian churches. They will put you out of Christian churches. Yea, the time come that whosoever kill you. We're not even talking about just kicking you out. We're not even just talking about persecuting. We're talking about kill you. Was I not killed when they destroyed my name? Kill you and think that they're doing Yah service. And these things they will do unto you. Here it is, ugly duckling. Here it is. They will do unto you because they have not known the Father nor me. You don't belong there. You belong here. And so, guys, I'm telling you right now, Yah has done a great work with Pastor Charles Dow Jr. And he's created an environment, a structure that is biblical, that sticks to the Word of God. I've seen it myself. I'm a living proof. He's created a place. If you want to live this Word out with all your heart and with all your might and to love your brothers and sisters like you love yourself, Pastor Dow is the man of the hour that I know of. And he's creating an environment. And guess what? You don't even have to move to Tennessee. Now, if that's where Yah's calling you, go. Guess where I live? I built this house, still live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So we got straightway all throughout the United States. All you got to do is start with fellowshipping. Find a brother or two, come together and fellowship. That's how I started. And now it went from 2, 3, 4. Now we got 16 people that live on community, and then over 20 people. And it's growing. It's growing. We have to get more land or something because we can't, it's just, we're going to outgrow this place. So anyway, I just wanted to finish, guys. So this is to be expected. Expect to be rejected. Part of being in this truth is you will be rejected. You will be set apart. Being set apart, look at being set apart. You're going to be rejected. So you got to understand, if you're being rejected, if you experience this your whole life, then this is the moment that Yah is giving you. So anyway, I just wanted to just show you that. And then I look forward to answer these questions so we can take a break.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. We'll be right back, guys. Let's start posting your questions now, and we shall return. All right, guys, we're back. We're back.
All right. It doesn't seem there's a lot of questions here, but we do have one from Spiritual Combat, Brother Michael.
Shout out, Brother Michael Israel.
Just shout out. He's doing a good work. I love how he always talks about seeing people's footwork. I see your footwork. You know, I don't know.
What was that?
You know, with the basketball. Anyway, but let me answer his question. So Spiritual Combat says, why do men stay in bad, unrighteous marriage? The reason why is because they fear rejection. That's the fear that came over me. When I love my wife because of the stuff that I experienced as a child, being rejected by your natural family just because you were different or being made fun of, and all of the stuff I went through. When you finally find a woman, especially a woman you think is beautiful, and for whatever reason why she picked you or wanted to say yes or whatever, and then all of a sudden you end up worshiping this woman, and you finally feel like somebody truly loved you, and then you find out that their love is really just based off of at the end of the day of how much you worship them, and it's a fear of rejection. I mean, I can tell you that was my greatest fear, is being rejected by my wife at the time, and my children. That was my greatest fear, is to lose my wife and my children. I even wrote that in my little book. If I wanted to pursue what God was telling me to do, what was the biggest obstacle? Losing my wife and losing my children. That was my biggest thing. And whatever you fear is that's who you're worshiping. That's what controls you. And so it's out of order if you fear losing your wife or losing your children, because we should only fear Yah. The Bible, Jesus says this, and I can't find the quote, but Jesus says this: don't fear what man can do to you. Fear him who can destroy your body and soul in hell. And so just know, guys, whatever you fear, women, if you fear that your husband is going to take on a second wife, that's your God. Whatever you fear, just ask yourself, what is my greatest fear that will keep me from this truth? Whatever that fear is, that's your God. So let's be real. That's a good one, because wherever you fear is where Satan is going to attack you. He's going to attack you there to get you out of this truth. Yeah. If it's fear losing your reputation, I had a huge reputation. I built my name. Money. If fear of losing money is that's where he's going to attack you. Whatever you fear, where it should be. Let me tell you the standard. You should fear Yah. The beginning of wisdom is the fear of Yah. If you fear losing Yah, you in a good place to be, because now it doesn't matter what happens. All you're going to try to do is to continue to maintain your relationship with the Most High. And that's where you really want to be. So I think a lot of people stay in these unrighteous marriages because of their fear of rejection, fear of losing their wife. And so that's what that's why I did this show called Ugly. Part of being in this truth is you have to be comfortable being rejected. You will be rejected. It's part of being part of this truth.
Right.
Give me another one.
Let's see.
What's another question? Freddie, you got one? Or
how is your son dishonoring you? Please explain.
Somebody asked me, how is my son dishonoring me? Because I never gave him permission to play the game. So by him playing football without my permission is disobedience. He's never gotten a permission from me. I've called the school. Everybody's blocking me from doing my fatherly role. I think that there's more. I think it's more important for a child to honor the father than to go play football. And so until he gets my permission, he's living in disobedience. Even though it's coming from his mom. His mom is the one that's leading the charge in this rebellion. But her leading that charge of rebellion is also causing other people to rebel. So either he's doing it knowingly or ignorantly, he is dishonoring me. It's just I don't feel honored. Somebody even told me he's actually playing football to honor you. I said, no, those who are honoring me, the children that are honoring me are the one who does the will of the Father. And so he's not honoring me. I remember my ex-wife was telling me, well, if I don't wear a head cover, do you feel dishonored? I said, yes, I feel dishonored. The Bible says if a woman prays or prophesies with her head uncovered, it's a dishonor to her head. So if I'm your head and you don't use your head cover, I don't care what the culture is doing. But are you going to wear your head cover? And she said she wanted me to be comfortable with her not wearing a head cover, because I said, no, I want your glory to be covered because your glory represents me and I represent Christ. So, guys, yes, I feel this. That's my son is dishonoring because he's disobeying me. He does not have my permission to play the game. And even with the state of Wisconsin, it says they have 50-50 custody. And so if I have 50-50 custody, that means they need both me and their mother's agreement on this stuff. And we have not talked about this stuff. And even when he was in my house, he wanted to play, and I did not let him play. I said, hold off. Because I didn't want him to start playing so young just by playing the game and putting so many mileage on his body. But now that I've come into the truth, I don't want him polluting the Shabbat. So he's not only dishonoring me, he's dishonoring Yah. And if I'm an Israelite by blood, he's an Israelite because he's my seed. And so that's a curse on him. So it's bigger than just playing football. I've done it. I made it to the big leagues. I made the millions of dollars, signed the big contract. And guess what? It's all crack. It's all full of crap at the end of the day. It's not worth giving up your life, your soul. Good question. What's the next question? You have the next one?
There's some questions there.
Oh, Kabir does it hurt in the natural not to see your son play? Yeah. When somebody sent me that thing today about my son playing football and that he's doing well, yeah, because I had this vision in my mind that if any of my children wanted to play football, not that I want to force them, I would love to be there to kind of show him the trick of the trade and to be able to teach him and to not make some of the mistakes that I made so that he can even be better than I was. Yeah, but you know something? When you come into this truth, it just, all that stuff goes away. There's a lot of stuff. If I want him to be in this truth. Of course, you got the flesh, but I don't walk according to the flesh. I walk according to the Spirit now. I'm no longer bound by the law of sin and death. Now I'm bound by the Spirit of Yah. And so, but in the flesh, yeah. But my fear of Yah is much greater than than the thing in this world. It's all cardinal now. So I hope I answered that question. What was the next one? Somebody says, I saw a question there.
Well, there's a few of them, but it's kind of out of context.
It says, would you play again if you... Okay, Jeremy, Jenny, we got one from Jenny. Would you play again if you could do it all over again, Kabir? I will play, but I won't be playing on the Shabbat. If I could do it all over again, and obviously if college balls are usually played on Saturday, but at San Diego State we did play on Saturday nights. But then there were some games, afternoon games. But if I had to do it all over again, I would try to see if I can do it, but it will have to be in the context of Yah's commandment. And and obviously a lot of schools or teams probably would not accommodate that. And if they wouldn't accommodate it, I guess I wouldn't be playing. So if I had to do it all over again, experience what I experienced, I mean, think about this. I did it. I did what the world said will make you happy. I did it all. I did what the white man told me to do. I was a good in the community, didn't do drugs, paid my bills, paid my taxes, didn't get caught up in the clubs and the party, never got in trouble with the law. And my biggest run-in with the law happened because I didn't make my wife happy. So what was it all for? You do all these good stuff, and at the end of the day, it comes down to because I didn't do what my wife wanted me to do, because I wanted to keep his commandments and disobey, I guess, my wife. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if I had to do it all again, I would keep the commandment of Yah. I wish I would have known it sooner, to be honest with you. So it'll be because then I wouldn't have had 8 children. Maybe my ex-wife wouldn't want to have married me then. But because of the football, I mean, I really believe she is a gold digger. I think in her culture as a Filipino, in the Filipino culture, women are trained as a little girl to go look for men that are rich. So if you people marrying these Asian women, I'm not trying to generalize, but I just got to be honest because it happened. But they literally are trained. I talked to people who did missionary work in the Philippines. He said these women are literally trained to look for American people and to marry them to hit the jackpot. And then when they do it, they literally isolate you from your natural family and make you only associate with their family. And once they drain you and suck you dry, then they go help their family. Do you know that when my ex-wife left me, that not one single family member on her side has reached out to me and talked to me about anything. They have completely taken her side. We know in the commandments of Yah, even in the Hebrew culture, but even in the Nigerian culture, if a woman did something like what my ex-wife did, she would be shamed. It would be a shame for them to do it. But in the Filipino culture, she's a hero. She just hit the jackpot. She scored over $10 million. Now you get the grandchildren that also can get more money too. She is a hero in the Filipino culture right now. They're jumping up for joy right now. And she was able to even fool all the Christians and all the world to think that she's this little victim. She did it in such a way, it's beautiful that she's even accepted. And so be careful when you marry these women who are in the Philippines. I'm not saying we got Filipino people in the ministry. They could probably testify if I'm telling the truth. But not every Filipino, but a lot of them. So it's a remnant. It's a remnant of Filipinos that don't think like that. But a lot of the women are literally trained to because the men are kind of lazy, but to train to get these rich men, get them for their money, marry somebody rich, and suck them dry, even kill them. The ideal thing is that the man die and they get everything. So anyway, I hope I answered that question. What's another question here? Jose, who's that? Jesus? I don't know. Rivera. What talking about? What happened?
I'm not sure. Let's see. A lot of these.
Can you scroll it down?
No, I can't. Not on the screen.
Oh, you can't do it? Okay, can you read the one for Hosea? Let me get mine.
It says, what to do when your children are told lies, told lies about you to alienate them against you. It's pretty much what happened to you, right?
Yeah. So it says, what do you do when children are told lies about you? What to do to alienate you against you? Guys, all I can do is just, it's part of the process. It's part of the process of them. They have to overcome. They're going to have to overcome the lies. They're going to have to. And then one thing that I did teach my children in Christianity is filter everything through the word. If my children who heard my voice remember, because that was something that's something I did for myself, and that's what got me out of my situation, was that I had to get through all of the Christian lies, all of these traditions, and I kept on going back to word. That's how I was able to recognize that Pastor Dow was a good pastor, because I had the word and he kept speaking the word, and that's what allowed me to trust him even though I didn't know him. I know Pastor Dow now, but I didn't know him. And so what made me overcome not knowing him, even in the fact that he was a pastor, most of the time pastors are not to be trusted in Christianity. Obviously, they're business people, but Pastor Dow was different because he literally preached the word, and more importantly, he did the word. He lived the word. You saw his footwork. And if my children do the same thing I did, if they filter everything through the word, pastors, their mama, their daddy, their brother, their friends, if they filter, they will be able to get to the kingdom just like I did. And so I'm hoping that my children remember that. The ones who's going to remember that and put that to truth, they will be able to overcome. And so that's how Yah refines us, you know. I mean, it's not going to be a cakewalk. They're going to have to be able to go through the persecution. They're going to have to experience rejection, just like I did, the rejection of their mom. That's probably the greatest fear that my children have to overcome, being rejected by their mom. Because right now, their mom have control over them. Their mom have full authority of them. She can right now shame them to even reach out to me. I don't know if I told you, I saw my son. My son was, I saw him, he saw me. I didn't see him, and he didn't even try to come out to me. And this is actually one of my son that actually always be the one to reach out to me, Judah. And he didn't even come out. He didn't even come out, even though I was within yards, and didn't even come out. So it tells me that he's been beaten down so bad for even trying to reach out. My ex-wife is literally keeping the children from reaching out to me, even the young ones. That even when they had an opportunity to do it, instead of him moving his feet to reach out to me, he didn't even do it. And it's become so awkward now. So they will grow up. They're going to experience life, and that's all they can do. But I hope they filter, and if they hear my voice, if they're watching stuff, filter everything through the word. Look at all my videos. You'll see that everything I've been talking about lines up with the word. That's why I'm experiencing the persecution I'm experiencing, because Jesus said it would happen. So great question.
There's another one from that same person who asked that question. It says, what do you do if they don't let you see your children at all either? What do you do when denied the right to see them and spend time with them?
What do you do? Well, guys, once again, guys, at the end of the day, I'm moving. My life is about Him right now. My eyes is on Jesus. I'm keeping my eyes on Him. I'm about His business. I'm about the Father's business. That's what I'm about. I'm just going there. And my children know where to find me. It's the same place that they lived in. I have not moved. I still live here at Praiseland. It's called now Straightway Praiseland because we are under the submission of what we do here, what they do here at Straightway. And so they know where I'm at. And I'm not trying to seek them. I'm just waiting, just like the prodigal, just like the father of the prodigal son had to wait. That's all I can do. So, what's the other one? It says, do you think the higher ups used your ex-wife to be your handler? I don't know what that means. What's that? Who's that? Oh, okay. Give me another question.
Let's
Have
see.
your brother you got that one? You got one, Freddie? What does your family think about your newfound faith? Don't you have a brother who was on TV or played football too? Yep, I have a natural brother who's on TV. He's called the American Ninja Warrior, Akbar. And what do they think? Well, by their actions, they think I'm crazy, but they're watching. They're watching. They're not really committed in one way or the other, but it's not, our relationship is not the same. I can honestly say they hate me too. And how do I know? Because I know what it's like to be loved by them. My brother Akbar probably was my closest brother. He had a lot of respect with me. I'm his older brother. And our relationship has been strained because of my walk. Now, it doesn't mean we don't talk or things of that nature, but it's not the same anymore. He does not have the same type of respect that he had for me, or maybe he does, but it's just strained. He is in a marriage himself. And so he got to deal with his world too. So right now, being associated with me, being a part of, anything like that can affect his business, can affect his marriage, it could affect stuff. And so he's not prepared because he has not been called. Yah's not dealing with him yet. And he's not prepared to lose his life. He's holding on to his life. That's all he has. He has his job. He has his wife. He has his children. And right now is to be expected. I mean, it really is. I mean, I can't even be mad at him. Yah didn't call on him yet. Maybe one day Yah will call him and maybe he'll come out. That's my prayer. But if he doesn't, I got to keep on moving, man. Every man for himself. Every man for himself.
Brother Kabir, do you agree with polygyny?
Do I agree with polygyny? Absolutely 100% do I agree with polygyny because it's biblical. David, Moses, Abraham. Let me tell you how much I agree with polygyny. If you took this Bible, everything that was written by a polygynist, you literally won't even have a Bible anymore. This Bible, Yah himself is a polygynist, so you wouldn't even have the Bible. There would be no Bible. It wouldn't even exist. So yes, I believe in polygyny. It is biblical. It's actually healthy. I mean, I want to start talking about how that even helps. In general, just women. I mean, we live in a culture that is all about a forced monogamy. Now you got a lot of these women who can't be covered because every man is taken up. All the righteous men are taken up. So that means if a woman desires to have a righteous husband, all she can do is get the leftovers, if there's any. So yes, I believe in polygyny. Man was created for polygyny. Doesn't mean they have to do it. And they do have to be able to afford to take care of multiple wives. But yes, I believe in polygyny. I'm not ashamed to say that. I can't lose whatever I already lost, so I'm actually saving my life. Any more questions?
Brother Kabir.
Yes.
Do you just want to be right just to be right, or what's your position about everything that
you
talk about?
A pastor asked me that question. Do I want to be right just to be right?
You just want to be right.
I do want to be right. Hear me out. Do I want to be right? You damn right I want to be right. I want to be right in his eyes. I want to be right in Yah's eyes. I want to be righteous as he was righteous, right? He says that if you do righteousness, you'll be as righteous as he is. If you go to 1 John chapter 3, let me bring a scripture in here. 1 John chapter 3. It says it clearly that we should want to be right. That's what we should desire, to be right as he was right, right? And it goes on and says this. He says, little children, let no man deceive you. See, look at these people are trying to make it seem like it's bad to want to be righteous. It's not bad. Don't let no man deceive you. No man deceive you. I want to be righteous. You damn right I want to be righteous. He says, he that doeth righteous is righteous, even as he, meaning Jesus, was righteous. Right? And he that committed, so it goes on. So yeah, I do want to be right. That's a good question, but I don't know if it's a good question, but I'm glad it was a question I can answer. Any more questions? What do you guys see in there?
I mean, we can be here all night.
Okay. Give me 2 more questions, then we can shut it down. You got some good questions? What key is effective time management as a community head? Being organized. So somebody said here, I'll answer this question. I mean, because it's a good question if you're looking for community. So what is the key to effective time management as community heads? Pastor Dow talked about, having goals, schedule, being organized, But if you don't have a goal, you're not. So I'll say start off with your goal. Figure out where are you trying to go? Where are you trying to lead your community? I'm just trying to get my community to continue to follow Pastor Dow and the things he's teaching, but things here we have here. So have a goal, and then from there build what it is that you're trying to do. But it's just about being organized and communication. Communicate. It's just like a football team. Where are we trying to get to? We're trying to win a Super Bowl. We're trying to stop the team from scoring, and then have a form of communicating that so you can be one heart, one mind. We have the greatest playbook in the world called the Holy Bible. So that's the key, is just to being effective, and then as a community head, holding people accountable to what you say, rule and demand for respect, and holding people accountable to the things you say. Don't just let things go. Don't be a people pleaser. If you're a people pleaser, you're gonna do a horrible job in being a community head, because now you listen to too many voices. Be like King Saul. He feared man more than he feared Yah. So stick to following Yah. You lead, and they will follow. Any more? One more question. Let me take in one more question, and then we'll shut it down. Any more questions? Did you find anything?
So if your ex-wife came back, would you take her? Mariah S. Coming from Mariah S.
If my ex-wife came back, something, I have to say no. I would to say no at this time. I can't see any way that I can take it. It would be truly by the grace. It would be a miracle by the grace of Yah. But I would say no, because when people say why, well, because one, I have a woman, and I have a community, and what she has done has been so treacherous, and that is not acceptable. That is not acceptable. The best thing I can do is to give her a bill of divorce and put it in her hands and let her go. But until she reconcile, no, there's no reason. Now, I can't imagine myself, and I just can't even imagine taking her back for what she's done. For, like I said, we just talked about, she had opportunities upon opportunities to come and figure out what we all about. She had these YouTube videos. A lot of these YouTube videos started just to try to get her to be able to watch these videos. She's probably watching now to be able to see my heart, to be able to see that I'm just trying to follow the Bible. She had the opportunity, and she has proven that she truly is not his. I saw her just a week ago at court, taking me to court, trying to go for less than $1 million. I mean, guys, it'll be very hard for me to take her back. I just can't, but I'll say no. I'll say no. All right, I guess we can wrap it up. If there's no good questions that you don't see or whatever, we can wrap it up.
Yeah, just kind of getting more distracting questions at this
okay.
point, so. But that's pretty much it, guys. You want to have any closing words, Brother Kabir, before we close to announcement?
Okay, guys. Hey, the moral of this show was this, guys. If you want to be in the truth, you're gonna have to understand you're gonna be rejected, guys. It is part of it, and I know it hurts. I still hurt, but it's not the same it was in the beginning. I know some of you guys are out there right now. You have decided, you've woken up to the truth. You're walking in, you can see right now. You actually are in a situation where you can see that if you continue in this truth, you're going to lose everything you had. You're going to lose your wife. You can see your wife is not going to follow. You can see that your husband's not going to follow. A woman is a little bit easier because all she has to do is be submit to her husband. She can only submit to her husband as much as she submits to Christ. But I think the woman have it a lot easier because she is not commanded to hate her husband. But the husband is commanded to hate his wife and his children more than Yah. But a woman has been commanded to not leave unless the husband let her go or whatever the reason is. But it's tough. It is tough. And you just got to accept the fact. You have to overcome. You have to understand all those years, if you're one of his, and all those times you always felt like you didn't belong, always felt rejected. All of that should have prepared you for such a time as this. This is it. This is the moment. You got to understand you're being effective. And if you wasn't, if it was easy, everybody would do it. Rejection is meant to hurt. It hurts. But if you can be willing to have some grit, and that you can be able to be willing to lose your life so you can save your life, I promise you, if you lose your life, you will save your life, and it is better. I am a living proof. Living today can tell you right now, in the short time that I lost my life, I can honestly say everything about my life. Listen to me. Everything about my life, from my woman to the brotherhood, to the sisterhood, to a pastor, to a community, to the assembly I'm a part of, it is better by leaps and bounds. It's what I experience in Christianity is pale in comparison to what I'm experiencing now. It is truly better. I'll go back and end on this scripture in Luke chapter 22, 18. Luke chapter 18, 29. I'll end on this one, and then I'm going to let David close on this one. It says this, verily, this is Jesus saying, verily I say unto you, there is no man that had left house, or parents, or brethren, or wife, or children. Let's not do it for the children. Children, for the kingdom of God's sake, who shall not receive a manifold more in this present time. In this present time. And in the world come life everlasting. Guys, I am a living proof that Luke 18, 29 and 30 is true. What Jesus said long ago is true. If it's true for me, it's true for you. You just got to stand firm. Hang in there. So that's my closing statement. I'll let you close out, and then I'll give my last word.
Hallelujah. Well, guys, thank you so much, Brother Kabir, for making yourself available to take this time and speak to the people. Guys, you guys already know what's coming up next. Sister to Sisters, every single Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you guys go to the website, straightway.com. If you guys look at the bar at the bottom, there's the website, there's the ministry number if you want to make yourself known. Make sure you guys go to the website to stay up to date with everything that's going on in the ministry. Sister to Sister, Thursday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Also, Friday nights, every single Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. There is Blog Talk Radio with Pastor Charles Dow Jr. himself. If you guys have any questions, have any concerns, want to make yourself known to the ministry, make sure you guys call in. And also keep in mind that there is a lot of people who call into the show. So if your phone call does not get answered, there's always the ministry phone number. That's 615-688-3025. If you want to get in touch with the ministry, speak to Elder Becker and find out about a nearby assembly around you. If you are just coming into Straightway and you want to seek fellowship, make sure you call that number, make yourself known. And I would also suggest listen for a little bit. Listen to the ministry for a little before you make such a rash decision. Because how many times have we seen it, Brother Kabir, that people just come in excited and then they start looking into it. It's like, wait a minute, I don't want to be involved. And it's just...
Weigh the cost. Jesus says, weigh the cost. Make sure, because you don't want to start something, start building, and then all of a sudden you don't finish building, and everybody, you become the laughing stock. So weigh the cost. This is a serious commitment to be a part of Straightway. This is not something you just want to come in. This is not Christianity. If you're coming into this stuff, you're coming in it to be in there to death do you part. I mean, I'm talking about to really just grit. So I just wanted to weigh the cost, because you don't want to come in and then go back, because if you go back, it's like a dog who return back to his vomit. It's going to be worse. It'll be better for you not. That's why it says it'll be better for you not to come into the truth than to know the truth and to go back. So weigh the cost. That's why when people come in, we sit with them. We sit with them and we let them know.
We try to scare them
away.
away.
We try to scare them away. We try to let them know you can come and check it out. But I'm letting you know, if you commit to this stuff, we're going to hold you accountable. But this is not the type of ministry. You're better off just waiting.
Just come and go.
No. It's not a revolving door. It's not. We're not trying to build this thing up. We let y'all bring people to us. We don't go out getting people. We do these YouTube and stuff like that to get the information out. But you're better off just staying at home watching it. And when you're ready, you better be ready to fight. You better be ready to be double teamed. You better be ready to be rejected. Get over your rejections. Go.
Yes, sir. Guys, also straightway.com every single Saturday, every Sabbath, Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. There is a live Shabbat teaching from Straightway. Obviously, usually it's Pastor Dow. When Pastor Dow's not in town, he usually has one of the elders preaching, like Teacher Shane, or Elder Becker, or Elder Donnie, so on and so forth. I won't go down the whole list of elders, but usually he'll have someone covered for him. So make sure you guys go and check that out every single Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And Sundays, every first day at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, there is a brother segment, and it's usually one of the elders in the ministry that does that segment. If you guys have any questions, any concerns, there is a website for you guys to get your answers. If you're questioning, or if you have any questions about scheduling in terms of what Straightway does and their teaching and stuff like that. If you have any questions, suggestions, anything you would want Brother Kabir to react to, any video suggestions that you would want him to see, or any topics that you want to talk about, there is a email. That's the KGB Live Show at gmail.com. I repeat, it's the KGB Live Show at gmail.com. You can address and forward any messages to Brother Kabir. If you have any questions for him, or have any suggestions for any content, he's more than willing to address your emails. And that's pretty much it. That's all I have, Brother Kabir. Closing words, my brother. Anything?
Guys, like I said, it's just like anything else. What you do with anything is how you do everything. So guys, remember, rejection is a part of the fight. You have to overcome your fear of rejection. The only person you should fear being rejected from is from the Most High. And if that's where your fear lies, you are in good hands, and it will help you to overcome all these small rejections that you receive from everybody else. So remember, be faithful in the little things. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys coming week in and week out. I look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, shalom, shalom.
It's KGB Live Show. We gon' set it right. Live Show. We only tell the truth. Live Show. We gon' set it right. Live Show. The true straight way.
Straight from the scripture.
Straight way.
To you straight, no chaser.
The true straight way.
Straight from the scripture.
Straight way.
To you straight, no chaser.
The true straight way. For this truth, they really hate me. I hit them like a safety. On my way to the mountaintop, ain't no way they gon' stop me. When you live this life, you only get one shot. Time is running out, but you keep looking at the clock. But for me and my household, we're gonna be doers of the word. It's KGB Live Show. We gon' set it right. We only tell the truth. Live Show. We gon' set it right. Live Show. The true straight way.
Straight from the scripture.
Straight way.
To you straight, no chaser.
The true straight way.
Straight from the scripture.
Straight way.
To you straight, no chaser.
The true straight way.